Back in 1994, I moved from Seattle down to San Luis Obispo to take a job. I was married at the time. I had a 3-year-old son, and it was a happy marriage. We were good. It was a good marriage. And I showed up there. I ended up working for Lloyd Baggs for 11 years as his chief engineer and another 4 or 5 as a contractor. So I ended up, all told, from including the time I worked before I moved down there, I worked for him for 20 years. Designed his whole product line, much of which is still sold today, and it was a very important part of my life and of his. Well, one of my coworkers and I immediately had a very powerful mutual crush. But we were both ethical, and we became really good friends. It was a fun and delightful friendship, and we never really considered turning it into a romance. But it was, it was a strong magnetic attraction. And when there was a divorce, about 2 years later, I left our religion, and she couldn't come along, and it was impossible for us to stay together. So even though we still loved each other and it was still a good marriage, it had to come apart, and it did. After a while, I started to really turn my attention towards this person that I knew, my friend at work, and we ended up going on some wonderful camping dates and having a great time together. But she knew it wouldn't work. I didn't. And one day I cornered her and I said, "How come we can't be together? I really, I think it would be perfect. I'm crazy about you, and I know you like me." And she said, she said, "Okay, I'll tell you." And she began her list. And she went down about 15 or 20 things that were really good reasons why we would never make it as partners. And by the time she was done with that list, I was convinced. Oh yeah, okay, well, that is in fact a very, very convincing list of reasons. And I was amazed that she had such a cogent reply. And I asked her, "How come you have a list like that? How can you just come up with that many great reasons why we shouldn't be together?" And she looked me in the eye and said, "Gary, I've thought about it." And I'll tell you, that had to be one of the best compliments I've ever gotten in my whole life, that this woman that I admired so much had given the possibility of a relationship with me that much thought. So anyway, this song is the true story of how I was feeling. Oh, thank you. This story is the true story of how I was feeling when I was in the middle of wanting this relationship to happen. And it's called "I Could Fall in Love with You." I did not give permission for this thought to cross my mind, for I was married happily, or thought so at the time. I smiled and shook my head and didn't think it anymore. The thought was, there's the girl you came to California for. We must have vowed till death or inconvenience do we part. And now I've got a hole shaped like a woman in my heart. And here it is again, that thought I had so long ago. Was that fate or was it me? This time I need to know. I could fall in love with you, so easy and so hard, but I couldn't stand to take the chance I'd ever break your heart. I know there'll be no stopping me if I once let down my guard. I could fall in love with you so easy. and so hard. The problem is my heart says you're the perfect love for me. That wouldn't be a problem if my head would just agree. The perfect love forever, I've done that once before. Forever was a dozen years, and perfect 3 or 4. And you deserve a fairy tale, a husband and a home. The castles aren't the only things with walls made out of stone. I've seen your heart get broken several times for one of mine. And I'll be damned if I'm the man who'll be the next in line. I could fall in love with you so easy and so hard, but I couldn't stand to take the chance I'd ever break your heart. I know there'll be no stopping me if I once let down my guard. I could fall in love with you so easy and so hard. It only fuels my indecision that sometimes when we're talking, something happens to your eyes. They grow to fill my field of vision, and I want to crawl inside with you and curl up by the fire. And then I almost blurt out something that I shouldn't say, like, will you marry me? Or something equally insane. Of course I always stop myself. Of course I'm glad I do. Maybe someday I'll get drunk and sing this song for you. I could fall in love with you so easy and so hard, but I couldn't stand to take the chance I'd ever break your heart. I know there'll be no stopping me if I once let down my guard. I could fall in love with you so easy and so hard.
You know, you must really rate Gary, because I think the most I ever got was 2 or 3 reasons.
Well, either I rate or there's just more reasons where I'm concerned. Yes, it's quite possible it only took her 5 minutes to think of those. Yeah, that's great, Dean. Thank you. That song was even predictively a true story because I did get drunk and sing it to her. That's how I ended up singing that song for her. Invited her over. We had a bottle of wine, and and I sang the song, and she just screamed. She's at the end of the song. She just squealed, and she leaped into my lap on the couch, and we sat there, and we both cried, and oh my God, that was just an amazing moment. It was really, really great. Meant a lot to her.
Did she crush your guitar when she leaped into your lap?
No, I got it out of the way fast enough. Thank you, Roger. Yeah. I took the guitar off and put it beside me, and she jumped in my lap. Yeah. That would have been good, though. I've had a guitar run over by a truck before. That's a pretty good image. Maybe it would have been even better to sing a song for somebody and then have them jump on it and crush it. I would save that. I'd frame that guitar. Well, this next one is true, and the fact that it's true is a little bit ironic because I submitted it to a bunch of publishers at one point, and one of the publishers wrote back to me a letter that said, I like this song, but it's too unrealistic to be true. there couldn't possibly be a relationship like this. And I thought, oh, well, lucky you that you don't have any idea that such a relationship could exist, because it did. And I was dating, I think I won't name names on this one, but my date decided to tell me what her marriage had been like. And as it turned out, for years, this marriage was so cold that even though they slept together, they never kissed. He never, ever, ever kissed her. And he also never, ever called her by her first name. He would, I don't recall what he did call her, but she never heard her name come from his lips. Probably not through the entire marriage, but there was a point where it reached that point where he just wouldn't say her name. And she used to have a timer, but I'm really not going to name names. She used to have a clock by the bedside with a second hand that she would watch to time their lovemaking, and it was never less than 2 minutes nor more than 3 minutes, and I think the average was 2 minutes and 35 seconds, and maybe 2:36, I believe. So he was predictable. Anyway, this song is a true story, called "May I Please." I was hoping that I would be a better lover than that. He never kissed you, even in those moments when he held you so briefly before he rolled away. You need a man who knows 1,000 kisses, all the sweet ones and fierce ones, and all the ones that say, "May I please you?" Take you to a mountaintop and show you all the wonders I have seen. May I please you? It would be an honor just to show you what lover really means. May I please? He never told you. Maybe he just thought you knew he loved you, or maybe he didn't after all. You need a man who calls you by your name because he wants to. He loves you and likes you most of all. May I please you? Take you to a mountaintop and show you all the wonders I have seen. May I please you? It would be an honor just to show you what lover really means. May I please? May I please? Candlelight, hold me tight, kiss me nice and slow. These are pleasures every human has the right to know. He never knew you. No one introduced him to the woman who lay there beside him all that time. You need a man who looks you in the eyes until he knows you completely, body, soul, and mind. May I please you? Take you to a mountaintop and show you all the wonders I have seen. May I please you? It would be an honor just to show you what lover really means. May I please? May I please? May I please? All right. Thank you. Moving on. That one got me. I like it when I like it and I don't like it when I get carried away emotionally and then forget the lyrics. That's a mixed blessing. Yeah. So I have had a couple of relationships that broke up and got back together again, and the reunion time is really wonderful. I mean, I had one relationship that was so powerful and also kind of explosive that we broke up and got back together approximately a dozen times. We lost count. And I honestly feel like part of the appeal of that lifestyle was how great the reunions were, how much fun it was to get back together. And then it would go down its predictable course and fall apart and come back together again. This wasn't that. We just broke up once and got back together once. And she sent me an email. I was in my house in San Francisco, and I vividly remember the moment when I got this email with her name on it, and it had been some time since we'd been in contact. And I was astonished by the strength of my adrenaline rush. I'm glad I have a good, strong heart. I appear to have a good, strong heart because that adrenaline rush could have killed a lesser person. And I did eventually answer the email. It took me a few days to really work up the courage to answer. And when I did, we were back on the road and we got together, and it was really a great time. We had a good long run, and during which I wrote several more songs, which I've sung in concerts past. I'm going to sing one more of them after this. Anyway, this song is called Like a Bell, and I wrote it in a big surge of that same surge of adrenaline, pacing the floor. I had this beautiful apartment on Dolores Heights Hill above Dolores Park, above the Mission District. In San Francisco, it had a big hardwood floor, 30 feet long, and I spent the whole night pacing that floor. I'm sure that the landlord downstairs loved that. Walking back and forth and finishing this song. So here we go. Whoa, 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 I can't believe my eyes. I didn't think I'd see you in my mail again. I didn't realize you can get an adrenaline rush from a name. I've been feeling pretty zen, a little recreational desire and fear. What's this crazy mix of anticipation and blue lights flashing in my rear view mirror? What's happening to me? You got me walking, you got me talking to myself. What's happening to me? You got me singing, you got me ringing like a bell. Whoa, 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 I threw the I Ching I didn't like the answer and I threw it again. I hear the telephone ring and my heart starts thumping like a tennis shoe in the washing machine. I wonder what'll happen if I pick up the phone. The voiceover in my imagination is telling me I've entered the erogenous zone. What's happening to me? You got me shaking, you got me waking up at night. What's happening to me? I think about you, I feel my DNA divide. What's happening to me? You got me walking, you got me talking to myself. What's happening to me? You got me singing, you got me ringing like a bell. Whoa, 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 whoa. You got me ringing like a bell. Oh, 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 oh. You got me ringing like a bell. Thank you. Great. I'm going to take just a moment and paste my my tip jar into the chat. The tip jar has been a big help to me. Helps put gas in the tank and get me on to my next destination. Uh-oh, where'd Zoom go? There you are. And any contributions of any size are very much appreciated. So yes, we did get back together, and we're great friends to this day. She's one of the friends that I visit from time to time when I'm out in that part of the country. And we talked, last time I saw her, we talked for 4 days straight. We had a lot to talk about. And she, at the time, took Earl Grey tea. That was her beverage. Earl Grey with cream in it. That was her unique beverage. And she was a little self-conscious about her hair. It would get all messed up sometimes. And she'd apologize for how messy her hair was. And to me, for me, I think messy hair is one of the most beautiful things in the world. My favorite photographs of people are the ones where their hair is blowing off sideways in the wind, or just there's something about somebody having wild hair that is really pleasant for me. I just love it. And so I kept, all right, thank you, yay! We got Naomi, we got Roger, yay, and Tom. Well, Tom, I see your hair is as messy as it can get. Great. Yeah, I like wild hair. And so I would reassure her, this conversation must have happened a dozen times in the course of our connection. And so it inspired this song. It's called Real Girl. And it's also, I've helped her move. You know, this is just one of those songs where everything in it just happens to be exactly true. Here we go. When I was young, I had 100 girlfriends in my bed, coming to me tenderly from where they lived inside my teenage head. A little later, I discovered just a click away, all the lovers in the world could almost sort of be mine in a way. My computer's off today, 'cause you're a real girl. Don't apologize when your hair is a mess. You're a real girl. I hope you realize eyes. I like you best when I know you're a real girl. You take your tea with cream. You're a real girl. You're not a picture in a magazine. The internet has now connected every human being. When it comes to moving day, your 1,000 friends are nowhere to be seen. I gotta say, moving day's my favorite time of all. I get to pick up heavy things and help you hang your pictures on the wall. Doesn't bother me at all, 'cause you're a real girl. Don't apologize when your house is a mess. You're a real girl. I hope you realize I like you best when I know you're a real girl. You take your tea with cream. You're a real girl. You're not a picture in a magazine. You're a real girl. All right. Thank you. I have one more song prepared for today. This was the sum of the stories that were absolutely word for word true. All of my other songs have some element of truth in them, something I pulled from my life, at least some viewpoint. Next week, I'm going to sing songs that are sung in other voices. And by that, I don't mean I'm going to do impressions. I mean that sometimes a songwriter will have an urge to sing a song that does not represent their viewpoint. Sometimes to make a sarcastic point, or sometimes just to express, I have two songs that I've written that would be sung by a woman. And I'll sing those next week. So next week is going to be other voices besides my own, kind of a bookend with this one. But this next one, I spent 40 years crafting it, and one of the main reasons is that I wanted it to be exactly word for word true, and it just plain took that long to fit it into the box of the lyrics. It's a wonderful puzzle. Poetry is the same way, but especially songwriting, because you're trying to create a framework, a structure, and then you want to get this story, which is probably really a prose story, to fit that box, the tempo and the meter and the rhymes and the way the melody follows the way that it would be spoken in English. And all of these things are very, it's a very tight box that you have to squeeze things into. So back in 1978, I took a bus trip, my first long bus ride from Seattle down to Memphis, Tennessee. It was 3 full days on the bus, hardly any sleep, and I met people. And so this group of friends became very close to each other over the 3-day period. Most of us were on the entire ride from at least Portland down through Memphis. They were all headed to different places, but there was a dozen people that formed a core group, and we sat in the back of the bus and we talked and we slept on each other's shoulders, and it was truly a unique life experience. So I wanted to write this song, and it started even as we were coming into Tennessee across the big bridge over the Mississippi River, and there was a sign that said Memphis 7. And I thought, oh my goodness, 7 miles to Memphis. That would be a good title for a song. So the title came first, and then I got the chorus a couple days later. I was visiting my friends, and one of them was a great guitarist, and so I was there for music, and we played music together a lot. plenty good enough. So here we go, 7 miles to Memphis. Every few years I'd take out this song and add a line, and I finally finished it on a beach in Southern Oregon in 2023. She got on at the Portland station on the first day out of 3. I liked the way she looked, and I was glad when she sat by me. She said, "Honey, what's your destination?" I said, "Memphis, Tennessee. I got a pickin' partner there, and it's a place I've always wanted to be." By the time we got to Bend, I knew her whole life story. She knew my dreams and my plans. By morning she was sleeping with her head on my shoulder. I was a happy man. Have a good life. It's been good to know you. It's 7 miles to Memphis. Did you read the sign? Have a good life. It's been good to know you, and maybe sometime, if the wind is right, we'll blow in the same direction for another night. It's a crazy world, and crazy things happen all the time. Next day, we made friends with the neighbors, and I got down my guitar. A couple of the many things you can't do in your car. The kid from Colorado had a 12-string Gibson, and he played on a couple of songs. And then he gathered up his stuff and motioned us to come along. 'Cause everybody knows that all the cool kids gravitate to the back of the bus. We made up endless verses to the Trailways Blues until the driver yelled at us. I was traveling with a sheet of paper that was laced with LSD. I cut apart a dozen hits and passed them out for free. A couple hours later, we were all best buddies, and I started playing my own songs. I'd only written half a dozen, so I had to play them twice, and everybody sang along. Have a good life. It's been good to know you. It's 7 miles to Memphis. Did you read the sign? Have a good life. It's been good to know you, and maybe sometime, if the wind is right, we'll blow in the same direction for another night. It's a crazy world, and crazy things happen all the time. We stopped to get some breakfast, and the scenery kept moving. When does this cafe slow down? We laughed until it hurt, 'cause they call it Trailways. What a trip we took to Memphis town. I had a goodbye hug with my friend from Portland, and we promised we'd stay in touch.